Hello everyone, welcome back to one more session, and in this particular video session I'll be starting with a new lesson that is chapter 3, human reproduction, very important for your board as well as NEET examination. In this particular video session I'll be explaining about the events of reproduction, that is in human reproduction, what are the events that takes place, and then I'm going to discuss about the male reproductive system, that is the structure and the function of certain glands as well as ducts. Okay, first before we go into the actual concept, I have certain questions actually. Okay, why we have to learn this topic, human reproduction? Is it only for the examination? No, right? Because obviously we are humans and obviously we reproduce sexually. That means we should know what is exactly happening within us for the reproduction process. Correct? That's what actually we have to understand each and every concept of this. Okay, so that means this topic will be very important for your life. So please listen to me carefully. Okay, then another thing is, as we are doing video session, obviously I'm not talking to many, correct, at a time. I'll be talking to one, because you will be single at home and you'll be watching this, so no need to be being shy or something else, because it is natural, because it is present in our body. That's the physiological process occurs in our body. There is no need of being shy. You got it? Okay, chalo. So first of all, the question is, what is puberty? Puberty is a stage in a person's life where he is reproductively mature. So you know that what are the characters of puberty? The characters could be the growth of hairs on face as well as around the reproductive system, that is we call it as pubic hairs. Okay, then another one is in the case of females, the voice, the pitch increases. In the case of male, the pitch decreases. Got it? And also that in the case of male, during onset of puberty, the shoulders the broadens, and in the case of females the pelvic region actually broadens. Okay, and another thing in the female is the enlargement of the mammary glands also seen. That means in the females, menstrual cycle has started. That means the process of release of the ovum has been started. That is the onset of puberty in females. Whereas in the case of males, he started to produce the sperms during the onset of puberty. And what is interesting is the male remain reproductively active till he die. Whereas in the case of female, she will be reproductively active from the onset of puberty till 45 to 50 years. The reason is very simple. The menstrual cycle ceases between 45 to 50 years of woman's lifespan. That's very important actually. Whereas in the case of male, the process of formation of the sperm, that is spermatogenesis, is active till he dies. Okay, so let us see now. I have written, as I said in the previous class, that humans reproduces sexually. Okay, and even I told you that the reproduction should have 3 events, that is sexual reproduction should have 3 events: pre-fertilization, fertilization and post-fertilization. I have written the events here. You may wonder I have written 7 different events in this human reproduction. Don't worry about it. Very simple. See, gametogenesis and insemination comes within pre-fertilization, then actually fertilization itself, then all these things starting from 4 till 7 that are included in post-fertilization event actually. Okay, so now reproductive events. Humans are sexually reproducing organism. They exhibit certain events before fertilization. What are that events particularly? The gametogenesis. You all know that it is the process of formation of the gamete. In male it is called as sperm, in female it is called as ovum. And the process in male it is called as spermatogenesis, in female it is called as oogenesis. Spermatogenesis is the production of millions of sperm, okay, within the testes of the male. Whereas oogenesis, the production of single largest ovum within the ovary, that is oogenesis. And this process is called as menstrual cycle, and whereas this one is called as the spermatogenesis, or formation of the sperm. Let us see how all these egg or maybe the sperms are produced within the reproductive system. Okay, so that is gametogenesis. And now once the gametes are produced, it could be a sperm or it could be the ovum, whatever it is. I'm talking about sperm now. Insemination occurs. What is insemination? See, during sexual intercourse, we also call it as coitus. Okay, so during the coitus, what happens? The male reproductive system now releases the sperms, millions of sperms, into the female reproductive tract. This process of release of the sperm from the male reproductive system is called as insemination. Okay, so this particular word, or this is related to male. Insemination is by male, that is the release of sperm into the female reproductive tract. I call it as FRS. For male reproductive system, I call it as MRS. Okay, chalo. Once insemination is done, at the same time, the oogenesis also occurs, where the ovum is produced within the ovary. Now it is present in the fallopian tube. I'll explain everything. I'm just giving the introduction of this topic. Okay, inside the what I call fallopian tube, it's waiting for the sperm. Okay, the sperms actually, they travel inside the female reproductive system and ultimately reaches the fallopian tube, where the egg is waiting. And ultimately, out of millions of sperm, only one sperm will get the opportunity to fertilize. The process of fusion of the male gamete, that is sperm, and ovum is called as fertilization. Once fertilization occurs, we all know that haploid gametes fuse to form diploid zygote. It is the first embryo cell, zygote, okay, which is diploid. And zygote, which is formed in the fallopian tube, I will tell you the exact location within the fallopian tube later when I explain about the FRS. Okay, so what happens? Zygote undergoes continuous mitotic cell division. You know that within the fallopian tube, and they are rolling towards the uterus, because uterus is the site where implantation, or what we say, attachment of this zygote, that is completely developed embryo, takes place. We call it as pregnancy. Okay, so now what happens? As the mitotic cell division occurs within the fallopian tube, many cells are formed. It looks like a ball. It undergoes certain transformational changes. Transformational changes in the sense, we will say, let us say, like 8 to 16 celled stage is called as morula, then 32 celled stage is called as the blastula, then blastocyst. Ultimately, blastocyst is the now embryo, complete embryo, which actually now enters into the uterus. Okay, once it enters into the uterus, it will find a place within the uterine wall, and then it attaches like this. Okay, it's like it will attach to the uterine wall. The wall name is endometrium. I'll talk about it later. Okay, it will attach, and this process is called as pregnancy. Okay, or maybe I can say that that is also called as implantation. See, formation of the blastocyst, then comes the implantation, and implantation leads to the pregnancy in woman. So then that means we can call that woman as pregnant woman. Okay, then gestation. See, one embryo is now attached to the uterine wall. It takes lot of time actually. It takes months for the complete development, and finally it will transform into the baby, human baby, correct? That will take around 9 months. This period required for the development of the embryo into the young one is called as the gestation. Okay, so that is around 9 months. Okay, in humans. Once the gestation period is complete or completed, obviously what happens, the female cannot retain the completely developed young one within the uterus. She has to deliver it through the female reproductive system, that is called as the parturition. Got it? So that is actually the delivery of the baby. Okay, so this is called as parturition. All these events occurs in order. Remember, so that means you have to remember it in order. It could be asked in your need. Okay, so that is all about reproductive events. Just remember it. Now I will be talking about the male reproductive system. Okay, let us see the structure and some functions of the male reproductive system. How exactly it plays an important role in the fertilization process. Let's see about it. And I have written already two diagrams here. You could see it. And this is actually one diagram, which is the sectional view of MRS, and this is actually the transverse section of the MRS. For your examination, board examination, this diagram will be asked. Very, very important actually. You got it? You have to draw this and then learn it. Draw it around 5 times actually. Practice it actually. Very, very important for 5 marks. You will get the question like this. Draw a neat label diagram of TS of male reproductive system in humans. This is the diagram you have to draw, not this one. This is only for your understanding how exactly the male reproductive system is present. Okay, so that's all about it. Now I'm going to talk about the components, or the MRS consists of, there are mainly 4 different structures, which is very important. Now first thing is obviously the primary sex organs. I have written here the primary sex organ is testes. So male consists of a pair of testes, and testes are the site of spermatogenesis, where sperms are produced. Okay, Then actually accessory ducts. Here the meaning of duct is nothing but the pipe system. You could see here I have used pink color to denote the ducts. Actually these are all the ducts. That means these ducts are very important for the transport of the sperm. Okay, so during sexual intercourse, that's very important. So accessory ducts, there are about 3 different accessory ducts. I'm going to talk about it. Whereas the accessory glands, these are the about the gland. Actually these are not exocrine glands, these are not endocrine glands, these are exocrine glands. Okay, so I'll be talking about accessory glands bit later once I complete the structure of the testis. Okay, there are 3 particular, there are more actually. For your board examination you just learn only 3 accessory glands. I'll talk about it. Then actually the external genitalia. See, the genitalia is also called as the penis, which is actually present outside the body, that is actually outside the pelvis. One thing to remember, that the MRS is present within the pelvic region of the body. Remember it, pelvic region of the body. Okay, so let us see, let us see the structure of the testis. Very important. Okay, so I'm going to erase it now and I'll explain the structure of the testis. Now let us learn the structure of the testis. As I said, male consists of a pair of testes. Testes are the primary sex organ. Remember this, very important, because this is the site where sperms are produced. Okay, so let us just, I'll just see here. Actually I have already drawn this male reproductive system, and you could see here only one testis is there because it is the sectional view. Here you could see both the testes because it is the TS, transverse section. Okay, here the pink color oval shaped structures are nothing but testes. Okay, we'll draw the diagram again. Okay, so I'm using the pink color itself. Okay, I'm going to draw testis. Now here I'll draw only one testis. So this is the testis. Okay, normally the testis contains 3 layers. Actually it is surrounded by 3 layers. I will not talk about it here because I will talk about it when I explain this structure in NEET class. Particularly there is another session actually about it. Okay, so which is not required for board examination, so we will avoid it. Okay, so this is the testis, and now inside the testis what you see is, you see lot of compartments. So I am using blue color here. Compartments will be there. Compartment in the sense like boxes. Okay, many compartments will be there. Normally in each testis, if I talk about one testis, there will be about 250 to 300 compartments. Let us take 250 compartments. Okay, first I'll just finish the diagram. Okay, so there will be so many compartments will be there like this. Okay, around 250 compartments like this. Compartments will be there. Okay. Let's see the size of the testis. Normally, the shape will be oval. I'll write here. It is oval shaped. And actually, if I talk about the width, what is actually the width of it? The width will be around 2 to 4 centimeter. Okay, the width will be around 2 to 4 centimeter, and the length normally about 3 to 5 centimeter. So the length will be 3 to 5 centimeter. Not required, just for your understanding. That's it. Okay. So now I just want to tell you one thing that the entire testis is here. I have drawn. I have used white color. That means actually the testis is covered by a thin sac. Okay, a bag is there. Okay, the bag is made up of skin. So this is actually the bag which actually surrounds the testis. Okay, a bag will be there. A single bag normally which contains a pair of testes. Actually in this it looks like 2 bags. No, it is single bag where each testis will be present. Actually, got it? Okay, this bag skin is actually called as scrotum. So remember this, very important. What is the function of scrotum? As you know that the testes are present outside the abdominal cavity. It is outside the body actually, got it? So which contains a pair of testes, and the scrotum actually contains a pair of testes. So that means it must have a function. See, as I said earlier that the testes are the site of spermatogenesis where sperms are produced, and one thing to note that for the production of the sperm the temperature should be lowered, it should be reduced. What is the normal temperature of human being? It is 37 degrees Celsius, correct? So if it is present within the body, then actually the spermatogenesis process cannot initiate, because spermatogenesis process requires lower temperature. So what is exactly the temperature required by spermatogenesis? It's about let me just write here 34.52, around 35 degrees Celsius actually. That means around 2 to 2.5 degrees Celsius should be reduced for spermatogenesis. So the scrotum actually, it maintains or it helps, alright here. It helps to maintain the low temperature of the body. I'll just write here, maintain low temperature of the body, which is necessary for spermatogenesis. Very, very important. You will get this question. What is the function of scrotum? Scrotum actually helps to maintain the low temperature. In the bracket you can also write down that the temperature is around 34.4 to 35 degrees Celsius, necessary for spermatogenesis. Remember it, very, very important. That is actually the thing why the scrotum is situated outside, so that it can regulate the temperature. Okay, so that is one thing. Now let us look into the testis. I have already told you the structure, the external structure of the testis. Let us see what is there inside. If you just take the TS of the testis, you could see many compartments. And how many compartments? Around 250 compartments. And let us just name each compartment. These compartments are called as testicular lobules. Right here, what do you call? Testicular lobules. So each compartment is called as testicular lobule. So how many testicular lobules are present within one testis? It is 200. Approximately 250 testicular lobules will be present. Now I am going to just remove one testicular lobule outside. So I have used blue color, so I am going to use the same blue color here. So this is actually a testicular lobule. Okay, this is one testicular lobule. Now within each testicular lobule you could see certain structures actually. You could see, what you see here is circular structures will be seen. These are all highly coiled in the sense very, very difficult to explain. These are all actually highly coiled structures, actually look circular, and these highly coiled structures present within one testicular lobule is called as, right here, each lobule is called as seminiferous tubule. Seminiferous tubules. Okay, this is called as seminiferous tubule. Now specifically, which is the site where spermatogenesis is synthesized or produced or initiated? That is actually seminiferous tubules, where spermatogenesis is initiated. This is the site where spermatogenesis takes place. Which? Seminiferous tubule. In one compartment or one testicular lobule, there will be only maximum 2 to 3 seminiferous tubules. These are highly coiled structures actually. Okay, so the green ones, circles, are seminiferous tubule. Now again I will erase this. I don't have space here, and I will explain the structure of seminiferous tubules. Okay, so copy everything now. Okay, now let us learn what is there inside seminiferous tubules. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw one seminiferous tubule. So this is one seminiferous tubule. Okay, so here I'm going to use a white color here. Again, inside the seminiferous tubule you could see a single layered cells which is inside to the seminiferous tubules, like this, a single layered cells, and all the cells which is present very, very close to the membrane of the seminiferous tubule, which is actually called as germ cells. Germ cells. In the future, these cells actually are going to modify into motile sperms. Let us see how exactly later. Okay, germ cells can also be called as spermatogonia. What do you call? Spermatogonia. What is the ploidy of spermatogonia? It is nothing but compared to pollen mother cell or microspore mother cell. That is actually the ploidy is 2n itself. In the future, it's going to form the male gamete. So obviously it is 2n. Okay. Only single layer. Okay. Now after that, inner to the center, very close, which is already attached to the germ cells, actually another layer of cells will be seen like this, which is present within the seminiferous tubules like this. I am using pink color. Okay, and these pink color cells are actually called as Sertoli cells. Sertoli cells. Okay, no need to remember the ploidy. The ploidy is 2n. Okay, but you have to remember what is the function of it. Very, very important. You will get this question. What is the function of Sertoli cells? Very simple, you can easily predict, because Sertoli cells are present very close to the germ cell. Germ cells are in future, it's going to be the sperm. Obviously, Sertoli cells will provide the nourishment to the germ cells. Correct. Okay. So what is the function? It provides nutrition. I'll just write nut here. Nutrition to the developing germ cells. Or nutrition to the germ cells. We can also call Sertoli cells as nutritive cells. Very simple. We just call it as Sertoli cells. Now I'm going to draw one more seminiferous tubule. Okay. So we'll draw it here. As I said, in one testicular lobule there will be around 2 to 3 seminiferous tubule. One diagram is already done, so another seminiferous tubule. We'll draw one more. We'll just draw 3 seminiferous tubules which is present in one testicular lobule to understand the concept. And you could see that between the seminiferous tubule there is a gap. See, you could see the gap, right? This gap, and this gap is filled with some cells. And the gap is actually called as, I have to write here, where I can write, okay, I'll write here. These gaps between the seminiferous tubule or spaces between seminiferous tubules are called as, I'll just write here, interstitial space. You call it as interstitial space, which is present between 2 or maybe 3 seminiferous tubules actually. Within the interstitial space, what you see is, I'm using white color here, some cells will be there, which is present in the interstitial space. Okay, you can understand it. Okay, so these cells are called as interstitial cell, but it has got a specific name which is called as, I am using blue color because it's very important, you get this question. They are also called as Leydig cells. Remember it, interstitial cells are also called as Leydig cell. Again you get a question, what is the function of Leydig cell? Why it has to be present in the interstitial space? Obviously it must have a function. What is the function? See, I'll write here. The function is, it is very, very important for spermatogenesis. A hormone requirement is very, very important for spermatogenesis. That hormone is called as androgen. It is also called as testicular hormone because it is present, everything is present within the testis, right? Obviously a hormone which is present within the testis called as testicular hormone. And you all know that the male hormone which is synthesized by the Leydig cell, what is the male hormone? Androgens. What is the other name of androgen? You know it, testosterone. Okay, androgens or testosterone is synthesized by the Leydig cells or interstitial cell, which play an important role in the initiation of spermatogenesis. For the initiation of the spermatogenesis, what is required? A hormone is required actually, because that hormone has to send the message to your brain, okay, anterior pituitary, to release the FSH and LHS. We'll talk about it later. And as a result, spermatogenesis can be synthesized. Okay, so that is the function of Leydig cells. Very, very important. Remember it. Okay, so now I'm going to erase this and we'll talk about accessory ducts now. Okay, and now let us talk about the accessory ducts. As I said that accessory ducts are nothing but the pipe system, okay, which plays an important role in the transport of the sperm. Okay, so we see here particularly here you could see I have used pink color. See, these are all actually the accessory ducts. Okay, so first let us name it. Okay, so I'm using pink color now. The first accessory duct. So that means I'm labeling. I will label it later actually, but I will tell you, we'll start from the inside to outside. That means actually within the testis what kind of pipe system is there, then outside to the testis what kind of pipe system is there, then exactly within the external genitalia, the penis, what kind of pipe system is there. Okay, so that means we'll see the first pipe system or ducts is nothing but called as rete testis. Rete testis. Okay, rete testis, and here I just want to tell you that see, these are all actually the testis which contains lot of testicular lobules, each testicular lobule containing around 2 to 3 highly coiled seminiferous tubule, where inside the seminiferous tubule the sperm or spermatogenesis takes place. Let us imagine the sperms are produced now. Okay, sperms are there in the testis. Now it has to reach till here. How exactly it will reach? Simple. See, the sperms actually first are collected by the first duct, that is the first pipe which is actually surrounding the testis actually. All these are called as rete testis. That means if I draw one seminiferous tubule, see, I'm using white color here. Earlier I have used green color. Okay, this is one seminiferous tubule present within the, okay, we just this is actually the compartment, that is testicular lobule. Okay, we just draw 3. Okay, and now each is the site of spermatogenesis. Now I am using blue color. See, the pipe system which is attached to this particular seminiferous tubule. See, there are 3 pipes, and ultimately it goes away from the testis like this. And the pipe system which is connected to each seminiferous tubule is called as the rete testis. Okay, got it. That is the first pipe system. Then actually we just write the second pipe system, that is actually called as the vasa efferentia. Normally students get confused with the vasa efferentia and vas deferens. I'll talk about it. The second pipe system is the vasa efferentia. Okay, and here you could see, and all the rete testis now actually comes out of the testis. They actually come from the each seminiferous tubule and comes out of the testis and looks like very complex tubular structures, actually network of pipe system, and ultimately it opens like this. See, and opens like this. Actually this particular structure what you see here is actually the vasa efferentia. Okay, so that is called as the vasa efferentia. That means rete testis opens into vasa efferentia. Okay, I'll just write what happens to the vasa efferentia now. It opens into another big pipe. This is actually the big pipe. You could see here, this is the big pipe. Got it? So this is the big pipe which comes out of the vasa efferentia. We call it as epididymis. A bit complex term actually. Epididymis is the third pipe system. Okay, you could see here, this is the epididymis. Okay, then finally you could see that from the epididymis you could see another wide pipe actually runs here. See here, it finally here it comes. This is actually the urinary bladder, and you could see many glands. Actually we'll talk about it later. And finally see like this. So this pipe system till the urinary bladder, the wide pipe system which comes out of the epididymis runs till the urinary bladder. That pipe system or duct is actually called as vas deferens. We call it as vas deferens. That means this is all about the accessory ducts. Rete testis first, then vas efferentia second, epididymis third, vas deferens fourth. Okay, so now let us see. I just want to write what is the meaning of urethral meatus. It is given in your NCERT. Anyhow, I'm going to tell it. What is the meaning? What is exactly urethral meatus? Okay, the pipe system which is actually common for it is a passage which is common passage for both urine as well as sperm. Okay, obviously testis produce sperm, so sperms are traveling till here, till urinary bladder, the big pipe, big bag like structure, urinary bladder. And at the same time here you could see that the ureter actually which collects the urine from the kidney, and ultimately now actually it brings the urine into the urinary bladder. Actually one thing to remember that this vas deferens is there, right? It will not go into, or like it will not open inside the urinary bladder. That means there is no mixing up of sperm as well as urine in the urinary bladder. The pipe system separates it. Okay, so ultimately you could see here this is the urethra, correct? So we call it as urethra. The urethra is the common passage for both sperm as well as urine. That means the urethra is the pipe system which comes out of the urinary bladder, correct, which contains the urine. At the same time you could see here the vas deferens also opens into urethra, not into urinary bladder. Very important. It is where the urethra is the common passage for sperm as well as urine, and ultimately you could see that means the sperm as well as urine will be carried by the single passage. This finally from the pipe from the urinary bladder till the tip of the penis, this is the common passage is called as urethral meatus. Urethral meatus can also be said that it is the opening of the urethra. Okay, that is actually the urethral meatus. Just remember it actually. Got it? So that's, see, this is very important. You have to remember that the pipe system is entirely different. The vas deferens is different. Okay, but it opens into the urethra, whereas the urinary bladder which containing urine opens into urethra. So urethra is the common opening or common pipe system for both sperm as well as this one, what you call the urine. Remember it. Okay, so this entire system is called as the urethral meatus. Okay, so that's all about it. Now we'll talk about accessory glands. Now we'll talk about accessory glands. I'm talking about the special exocrine glands actually, which play an important role in secreting certain substances which actually helps the sperms. Okay, so the first accessory gland is seminal vesicle. The second one is called as the prostate gland, and third one is bulbourethral gland. Okay, here I'll just write we have a pair of seminal vesicle. Okay, whereas the prostate gland is only one. Here seminal vesicles are two, whereas prostate gland is only one, and bulbourethral gland is a pair, that is two will be there. Let us see this, where exactly they are situated within the male reproductive system. Okay, see here actually you could say this is actually the urinary bladder, and you could say this is the urinary bladder. Okay, here you could see only one seminal vesicle. This one, the red color one, is actually one seminal vesicle, but the other side one more is there actually. Okay, and here I have used green color. This is actually the seminal vesicle. How many are there? A pair of seminal vesicles are there. Two are there actually. Okay, and then actually the prostate gland. Where exactly you could see the prostate gland? A single prostate gland. You could see a heart shaped structure. I have used brown color here, and you could see this is actually a single prostate gland, and here you could see I have used purple color actually. So the box shaped structure, that is the prostate gland. First comes seminal vesicle, then comes the prostate gland, and ultimately below the prostate gland I have used blue color. A pair of bulbourethral gland is there. It is pronounced as bulbourethral gland is situated just below the prostate gland. You could see here, this is actually the bulbourethral gland. Seminal vesicle, two are there, and only one prostate gland is there, and a pair of bulbourethral gland is there. Okay, so that is actually the where exactly they are present. Okay, now the function. When I discuss this in the NEET class, obviously I'll give you the detailed explanation about it. I'm talking for only board examination, so this is the board syllabus. We'll restrict it. Seminal vesicle and prostate gland, they have only special functions. The functions include, I'll just write here, they secrete calcium, they also secrete fructose, and also they secrete seminal plasma, right here, a liquid. Okay, so these three things are secreted by seminal vesicle and prostate gland, which help to nourish these sperms actually on their way into this urethral meatus. Got it? They help to nourish the sperms. Obviously the sperms will be traveling here in this pipe, right? Obviously what will happen, the secretions will be released directly into this pipe. Which pipe? Urethra. Okay, so that means seminal vesicle, the ducts of the seminal vesicle open into urethra. The prostate gland opens into urethra, whereas the ducts of the pipes of bulbourethral gland opens into the urethra itself. Okay, and all the secretion will present in the urethra now. Got it? Because urethra is the common passage for both sperm as well as urine. One thing to remember, that when urine is traveling inside this urethra, at that time the seminal vesicle, prostate gland and bulbourethral glands will be non-functional. They don't work actually. And one more thing is actually the sperms also will not be released at that time. Okay, so that is actually a regulatory mechanism. When sperms are released, urine will be stopped. Urine will not enter here. Okay, when what you call urine is produced, obviously the sperms are not released. So that is actually the mechanism, regulatory mechanism. We'll talk in the NEET class how exactly. Okay, so then what is the function of bulbourethral gland? The function, it has got another name. I'll not say it now. We'll talk in the NEET class. Okay, bulbourethral gland, mainly the function is it actually secretes certain liquid which actually plays an important role in the lubrication. Lubrication in the sense makes easy passage for the sperms. Okay, lubrication, right here. So lubrication of the urethra, very important. You may get a question like, what is the function of bulbourethral gland? It produces a liquid which, obviously this is the one, the liquid will enter into the urethra through the duct actually, and then in the urethra liquid will be there. That means the first liquid which is produced before the coitus is actually the bulbourethral gland secretion. Okay, first it will be secreted, and first it actually runs till the urethral meatus, the end point actually, and ultimately it will lubricate, and also it will dissolve if any urine is present. Okay, making sure that the sperms will not get mixed with the urine if any urine is there within the pipe system. That is actually the function of bulbourethral gland, lubrication of the urethra, and also it makes the easy passage for the sperm movement within the urethra till the urethral meatus. Okay, so that's all about actually the function of accessory glands. Now let us talk about the external genitalia, that is the penis. So now we'll learn about the external genitalia, that is called as the penis. So here this is actually the penis or external genitalia of male reproductive system. Okay, this plays a very important role in sexual intercourse where insemination is done by this penis. Okay, see here I have written foreskin and glans penis. Let us see what is exactly that. So I am going to draw the diagram of the penis here. Okay, so here this is actually the penis, okay, which is cylindrical shaped actually, and normally this particular penis is obviously, that there is a pipe called as the urethra. Okay, the opening of the urethra is called as the urethral meatus. Okay, and here you could see that here there is a bulb shaped structure is there at the terminal or end of the penis. Okay, okay. So this bulb shaped structure is called as the glans penis. Remember it? Okay. The bulb shaped structure. We will talk about it more about it in NEET class. Okay. And then I'm just using the other color, and this glans penis is covered by a foreskin. That is, a skin is there actually. Okay, which covers the glans penis, which is called as the foreskin. Okay. That means the foreskin protects the glans penis. Okay. Then one more thing is, see, for the sexual intercourse, maintaining the erect posture of the penis is very important actually. It's very important for the sexual intercourse, for insemination process. How exactly erect posture can be maintained? It is maintained by special tissue actually. Okay, there are some special tissues will be there within the penis. Okay, special tissues which is also containing lot of blood vessels. Alright, here the BV, the blood vessels are present within these special tissues, and we actually call it as spongy tissues, and which contains lot of blood vessels, and which actually supplies the blood into the penis, which maintains the erect posture of the penis, which is very important for sexual intercourse. So that's all about the external genitalia, that is penis. Now what we do is, we understood everything. Now we have to label it. Okay, so let us label it. So if I label it, obviously you will understand the concept. Okay, fine. Now we will label the male reproductive system. We have already studied the 4 important parts of the MRS. Okay, first part is the primary sex organ. What is it? That is actually the testis, correct? Okay, so this is actually the testis. Okay, a pair of testes. Okay, that's it. And even also this is actually a testis. Next thing is actually I told about accessory ducts. Okay, here this one actually, which comes out of the seminiferous tubule, which is actually called as rete testis. Correct? Okay, then the rete testis will open into vasa efferentia. Hope this is visible to you. Okay, then actually the vasa efferentia opens into a big duct which is called as epididymis. Okay, and then actually the epididymis opens into another long pipe actually, which runs till urinary bladder. That pipe is called as vas deferens. And ultimately you could see a big sac-like structure actually, not the green one actually, I'm talking about this one. This is the urinary bladder. No need of labeling. Urinary bladder. Okay, you know this pipe actually, which is coming from the kidney, that is called as the ureter, not required. And you could see the accessory glands here. 1, 2, 3. These are actually, this is a pair of seminal vesicle. I think yeah. Seminal vesicle, you know the spelling, I think so. And this one is actually a single prostate gland, you know the spelling of it. And then below the prostate gland you see this purple color, a pair of glands actually. I'll just write here, that is bulbourethral gland. Okay. Then prostate gland and bulbourethral glands actually are the accessory glands which release a certain secretion helpful for the insemination process. And then we'll talk about this one, the external genitalia. This is actually the penis actually. So I'll just write here, the penis mainly contains a skin covering around the glans penis. We call it as foreskin. Foreskin, and this is actually the glans penis. Okay, glans penis, and this particular structure is urethral meatus. Okay, so that's all about about the labeling. Okay, and I hope that you can label this, and you could see this is actually the vertebral column, and this is actually the anus. This is the rectum, and this is the anus, and you could see this is the urinary bladder, and this is actually the seminal vesicle, this one, the red one. This is actually the prostate gland, and this is the bulbourethral gland. Okay, testis is there, and here the pipe system is not seen actually, but still you could see this pipe which actually opens into the urethra, which not opens it actually, it opens into urethra, correct. Okay, not urinary bladder, that is actually called as vas deferens. Okay, so that's all about it, and this is the urethra, and this is the penis, correct. This is the glans penis, and the skin is called as the foreskin, which covers the glans penis. That's all about the male reproductive system. We learn many things about male reproductive system in a different another session actually, where I will go in deep. Okay, so this is only required for your board examination. Please understand it, write down the notes and draw the diagram as much as possible. Okay.